Hello everyone, welcome to the class of English Literature. I am Dr. Sunita Meena, Assistant Professor, English. Today we are going to discuss 17th, 18th, 19th and 20th chapter of the Poetics. In the 17th chapter, Aristotle talks about the construction of the plot. He says that in constructing the plot, the poet should visualize the scene with the utmost vividness, as if he were a spectator of the action. By thus placing the scene before his own eyes, he would be able to avoid inconsistencies. The poet should also work out his play with appropriate gestures. As for the story, the dramatist should first sketch its general outline and then fill in the episodes and amplify the plot. In drama, the episodes have to be short, though in an epic poem, the episodes can be extended and prolonged. In the 18th chapter, Aristotle states that every tragedy falls into two parts, the complication and the unraveling, or we can say denouement. Denouement is an important term. The complication extends from the beginning of the action to the part which marks the turning point to good or bad fortune. The unraveling is that which extends from the beginning of the change to the end. Further, Aristotle divides tragedy into four kinds. He states that there are four kinds of tragedy. First, the complex, depending entirely on a reversal of the situation and on recognition. Second, the pathetic, where the motive is passion. Third, the ethical, where the motives are ethical. And fourth, the simple. In this way, he says that there are four kinds of tragedy: the complex, the pathetic, the ethical, and the simple. Further, he states that tragedy should not adopt the epic structure. The poet must not make an epic structure into a tragedy. An epic structure means one with a multiplicity of plots. And so, a dramatist should not make a tragedy out of the entire story of an epic poem like the Iliad. Tragedy demands a greater compactness and a single plot. Dramatists who have dramatized the whole story of the fall of Troy, or who have dramatized the whole story of Niobe, have either failed or met with only partial success on the stage. Next, Aristotle uh, highlights the role of the chorus. Of the chorus, the chorus too should be regarded as one of the actors. The chorus should be an integral part of the whole and should share in the action in the manner not of Euripides but of Sophocles. In chapter 19 and 20, Aristotle talks about thought and diction. He says that under thought is included every effect which has to be produced by speech. The thought has to be communicated to the audience through the speeches of the characters. The object of the speeches as of the incidents is to evoke the sense of pity, fear, anger, and the like. As for the diction, it should be clear but also dignified. Clarity can certainly be ensured by the use of current or proper words. But if only current words are used, the style becomes mean. Further, he says that diction becomes lofty and can be raised above the commonplace by the use of unusual words. Unusual words are strange or rare words, metaphorical words, lengthened words, altered words, contracted words, in short, words which differ from the normal idiom. Yet a style which is wholly composed of unusual words will either become a riddle or a jargon, and this must also be avoided. Certain liberties can be taken by an author with the language in order to impart distinction and dignity to his style. The aim should be elevation or dignity as well as perspicuity or clarity. It is a great matter to observe propriety in the use of words, but the greatest thing by far is to have a command of metaphor. Metaphors are a mark of genius, but to make good metaphors, one needs an eye for resemblances. In the 23rd chapter, uh, Aristotle highlights the main features of an epic poem. He says that the epic is that kind of poetic imitation which is narrative in form and which employs a single meter. The plot of an epic poem should be constructed on dramatic principles, and in this respect, the epic resembles tragedy. The epic like tragedy should have for its subject a single action, whole and complete, with a beginning, a middle, and an end. An epic will thus resemble a living organism in all its unity and will produce the pleasure proper to it. It will differ in structure from historical compositions which necessarily deal not with a single action but with a single period of time. In the field of the epic, Homer occupies the topmost place. He never tries to make the whole war of Troy the subject of his epic, though that war had a beginning and an end. The whole war would have been too vast a theme for the epic because it could not have easily been embraced by the reader or the spectator in a single view. Homer's method is to detach a single portion of that war and then to admit as many events from the general story of the war as possible to diversify the poem.